Hi everyone, my name is Arjun, and I would like to keep this short and sweet, but excuse me if I go beyond the time limit. So basically, my experience with the corporate world was very short. Corporate in India was very short. I primarily worked on cruise ships. However, I would like to talk about being a part of the LGBTQ community and working in the corporate world in India. That's something that I wanted to share my experience there. So, with regards to feeling comfortable with some companies, of all the companies that I've worked with, there were a few that went above and beyond. With regards to making me feel included as a part of their employee circle. Unfortunately for me, however, most of these companies were cruise ship companies that I worked for, where I was treated really well. When I was working in the corporate world in India, I was working for BPO call centers and I worked even for a five-star hotel. However, every single time, and mind you, I'm from Chennai, so most of the time people would kind of, how do I put this, kind of guess or assume that I'm straight, and then when they realize that I'm gay, either by my mannerisms or something, it throws them, for a six. The most uncomfortable thing I would say that I've endured in the corporate world is people coming up to me and asking me, "Are you gay?" That's my issue. What I do in the boudoir is my business, and I don't need to justify my actions in the boudoir as long as it's consensual between two loving people. I don't see the need to justify myself to anyone. So, being a proud gay, I obviously say yes, I am. And then the question arises, how can you be gay? You are Tamil, and you're a disgrace to Tamil Nadu. You're a disgrace to India. Indian men can't be gay. You're not virile. And, all this absolute ridiculous rot just comes spewing out of their mouth. One of the worst instances that I've endured was my whole team, who were pretty sweet to me, I would say. Um, the day they knew that I was gay, the whole team waited for me to arrive, uh, basically cornered me in the break room, and accused me of trying to turn all the straight men gay. Like, who would want to do something like that when, I'm really not interested in straight men? They can take a hike. No offense, but that's my viewpoint. So I just basically told them that you are not God's gift to humankind, so take a hike. I have a boyfriend, have a nice day, and I just walked away. At that point in time, I did have a boyfriend, so I wasn't lying, but yeah. Um, yeah, so that was my uncomfortable experience with the corporate world. Another thing that companies can do is to relax on the guidelines with regards to clothing and stuff like that. So for me personally, I used to wear heels along with the male uniform to work on a cruise ship, and it was never frowned upon. However, in India, even though there is no uniform in a BPO call center, the minute I wore tiny kitty heels to work, I was pulled up by the manager and told to go change, as it is not a male uh, clothing item. Even though I was in pants and a shirt and I was just in kitty heels. So stuff like that, small things they can relax on. And who decided that high heels are actually women's clothing, or pants were male and a shirt is a male clothing? Who decides that? Um, if you look back, why does anything have to have a gender specific uh, role? So, with regards to what people have said to make me feel included, I had some really supportive friends, or colleagues, I should say, who turned out to be friends, and one of them even suggested trying to arrange blind dates for me. So that was absolutely hilarious. But at that point in time, I was in a relationship with someone, so I politely declined. But that was really sweet of them to try something like that. The number of times I've had men stand up for me is few and far between, but whenever they do, I felt very uh, honored that somebody would step up to defend me. So there are people out there who have got your back, so you just have to find those people, I guess, and yeah, just be happy. So with regards to a company saying that they support the LGBTQ community, um, or they want to show that they are LGBTQ friendly, I would suggest, see, most companies do have it written down well on pen and paper that, their company policies, yes, we don't discriminate, but there are instances like the company that where my colleagues cornered me was supposedly LGBTQ friendly, but apparently not. So it all comes down to the mindset. It all comes down to choosing your battles. It comes down to figuring out what makes you happy and striving towards that. Coming from a very tough background, my childhood was not pleasant. Coming from a very I wouldn't say, survivor's attitude, I guess. Coming from that kind of a background, for me, I choose to fight my battles that I deem worthy. Most of the time, I don't waste my time trying to explain myself to people who I know do not have any insight into their actions. So I just go on with my life. Having lost quite a few loved ones, my cousin sister died of blood cancer, and my grandfather passed due to kidney failure. So having and a few other people in my life as well have passed away, very close friends as well. So after having had multiple losses, I've realized that life is too short to stay in a job that you don't feel happy in, and to regret your decisions, and waste your time being stuck or cooped up just because, oh, I have to support my family, oh, I have to do this, I have to do that. Life doesn't necessarily have to be miserable. That is the one thing that I've learned to find happiness in what I do. I found that jobs in India, sorry, I shouldn't generalize, jobs in the BPO call center sector especially were not to my liking. So hence I moved into the what do you call it, the cruise ship industry, and I did teach in English in Thailand as well. That was very therapeutic for my soul. So my suggestion would be to find jobs that really satisfy your soul, and be happy in what you do. So if the company that you find are not encouraging you to be who you are, or are just looking at you as a number and not as a person, and they just look at you to bring in targets, it's not a healthy way to live in the long run. So yeah, I've now decided to wind down from my cruise ship life as well, because it's a little too fast paced for me at the current place where I am in my life. So I'm trying to be self-sufficient. I'm setting up a farm. I'm going to be homesteading, and yeah, just do what makes your soul sing. That's my advice to people. Two or three things that I've been very proud of, or being that makes me feel very confident in myself, is my attitude towards life. Thanks to my mom being the wonderful, strong woman that she is. She's faced a life full of hardships as well, and with her guidance and her wise words, my attitude towards life has been, I would say, I have a very strong opinion. So yeah, I'm very proud of myself, for proud of having taken the decisions that I have taken, led the way, the life that I have led so far, traveled the world, lived my life, and I'm proud of my decisions that I've taken. And looking back, having faced a tough childhood, I would do it again in a heartbeat, because it has made me the person who I am today, and I'm tougher for it. So yeah, that's my story, I guess.